Hello guys, I'm Joey Franko from the UFO Hunter channel. I really haven't told you guys my story of everything that's happened to me since I started up my channel again. I took it all down at one point for reasons, personal reasons. I took it all down. I had 350 videos up and I had some really weird stories. Anyway, how all this started was about 2016-ish. Me and my girlfriend were outside. The sun was starting to set, but it was still pretty daylight outside. And I saw the disc. I saw a disc hovering up. There was no fancy lights. This thing was a classic shape, like in my icon video, my picture, but this was with my own eyes. This wasn't with a camera or nothing. It was a disc with a lot of detail. It had a bulb on the bottom. I couldn't see the top of it. It was kind of the color of what you would say one of our stealth fighters. About that dark color. It was like that, but it did have some lighter colors on the bottom and a lot of detail. I was really in shock because I did not believe in this stuff. You know, I like sci-fi movies and stuff, but I did not believe that UFOs were ever real. And I had to ask my girlfriend. I thought, man, am I seeing things? I go, do you see that? And she goes, yes. I wish I didn't. And I don't know, might be relevant or not, but she was ORH negative, which I hear UFOs are attracted to. I don't know if that's true or not, but I hear that. And so is her grandson. Because at her cabin, we had a lot of UFO experiences out there too, which was about 30 miles from where I was living and filming these UFOs at. Down about 40 miles from the Texas border in rural Oklahoma is where I filmed most of this stuff at. And anyway, so I happen to have one of those cat lasers on my keychain. Instead of going running in the house and getting a camera, I'm still in shock. I'm like, let me shine my laser at this thing. And as soon as I shine my laser at this thing, it just disappears. I don't know if it flew away so fast I couldn't see it, but it just slipped off like a switch and it was gone. So basically, I had a thermal rifle scope, which I hunt pigs at night with. You know, I go to Texas and do it. It's not legal here in Oklahoma. And so I started going out at night and filming these things, and I found that I could go outside within 15, 20 minutes, and I could film at least one UFO, or if not large groups of UFOs. And when I first started doing this, I went to my girlfriend's cabin, which I won't say where it is. I'm not with this girl anymore. And my DVR broke. I had a Zeus. It's called an Armacite Zeus, which is made by FLIR. I gotta fix this real quick. My preferences, I gotta make it so my screen won't go off. No, it's not that one. It is. Sorry about this, guys. I should have had this done already. Where's the light bulb? Anyway, this screen's gonna keep going dim if I don't figure this out real quick. I don't know where it is either. Anyway, I'll just have to hit the button every time it goes dim. Anyway, what basically after my DVR broke. This Armacite Zeus, made by FLIR, basically, was a military rifle scope. It was a 336 resolution by 4 zoom up to 12 optical zoom, which optical sucks. It gets real grainy. And anyway, it was an actual military scope used by the U.S. military and all forces of the military and law enforcement too. And then I got rid of that scope. But anyway, we didn't have my DVR for a couple months. I had to send it in. It was a piece of junk. And I wound up getting 2 better ones from a different place. But anyway, out at her house, her cabin, I was filming out there and I seen a large group. And I didn't have the DVR, and I'm like screaming her name, tell her to come see this thing. And I shine my laser at it, and this thing, I don't know if it was still there or not, but it was a huge group, and it was kind of triangular shaped, but there was big UFOs inside this thing with smaller ones inside of those. And when I shine my laser at this thing, it left up like a holographic pattern in the sky of all these different like hieroglyphic things. And on my other channel, I did draw these out. There was like circles and crosses and arrows and different symbols. And this thing slowly went into a big circle, and then slowly started shrinking down into a line, and that line shrunk up, and it was just gone. By the time she got out there to look, it was too late. This thing was gone. And there was a time when I was out there. I'll tell you the cabin stories first. I was playing UFO laser tag with this UFO, which I got to find this video. All my first videos in 2016 and 17 are silent. I didn't even know how to turn the microphone off. I'm not very technical, and if you try to enhance any of this thermal footage, or was try to make a copy of this thermal footage, you'll find that it's almost impossible to mess with thermal. And to enhance it, the only thing you can do is enhance it with Adobe After Effects and drag it to the center of the screen and keep it in the center of the screen and enlarge it. Basically, there's no enhancing this stuff. This stuff on the news is not fake. This thermal footage I have is not fake. And this all happened to me. Everything, I swear, my life, that this stuff really happened to me. Some weird stuff happened. So I was playing laser tag with this UFO the night before I was going to go hunting in the woods. And this thing is like, trying to get away from my laser. I figuring out how that, I think it was trying to figure out how I could see it, because these things can be totally invisible. They can be cloaked. If you watch In Search of Skinwalker Ranch or The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, there'll be a UFO that's right underneath this helicopter, and this helicopter's 5,000 feet in the air, and it's getting 40 foot off the ground readings with its radar altimeter. Basically, there's something right below it, and you cannot see it. I mean, it's broad daylight, and they're looking with binoculars. I think if they would have looked with thermal, they would have seen it, because nothing can hide from thermal. There is no decloaking anything with thermal. I mean, everything's either cold or hot, and it's going to show the differences in that. And anyway, let's get back to the UFO I played laser tag. So I went to bed that night, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got up, and I was kind of freaked out because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. There's UFOs out there. This is still kind of new to me. So I turned my thermal scope on. You can't hunt with it, but I did take it into the woods with me. And so I wouldn't use any light. I just carried it. It wasn't on my gun. And I walked out of the cabin, and I'm looking straight up. There's no awning or eave over this cabin. And as soon as I walk out, this UFO comes out like he can see me right through the house. I swear this happened. So I'm kind of leery. I start walking down this dark trail. And basically, I'm watching this thing, and it's about 100 yards ahead of me on the trail. And I'm kind of scared, I'm not all that brave when it comes to this UFO stuff. And so I put my hand on my pistol. I'm armed. I got my rifle and my pistol. And as soon as I put my hand on my pistol, it's not ahead of me anymore. And I look straight up over me, and this thing's right over me. I mean, just above the trees. So I turned to run. And as I turned to run, I'm looking back over my shoulder where this thing was. And next thing you know, this thing's gone. It's not anywhere. So then I go hesitantly. I went out there to hunt because I love to hunt for deer. And I haven't done that in a few years. But I'm walking down the trail. I go into my deer blind. I've got my deer blind set up to where there's no way the sun's going to shine into my blind. So it doesn't blind me in the morning when I'm trying to hunt deer, because they're usually in the morning or in the evening is the best time to hunt deer. So anyway, that morning about 9 o'clock, the sun is rising in my eyes, and I'm like, this is weird, I'm sure I set my blind up right. And I call my girlfriend, and she says, well, come back to the cabin. And the next thing I know, I guess I fell asleep, because I wake up, and now it's 6 o'clock. And I don't know, there's a picture at one of the ends of one of my videos. It shows a picture my deer camera caught that day. And there's like a weird ball in front of my feeder with an opening up. Everything's see-through in this picture. I mean, you can explain it away with light or lens flares. I don't know what it was. But it's a creepy picture. And it's a ball with an opening on the top. It's see-through, but it's also white. And it has this ladder leaning against it, which we don't have a ladder out there anywhere. Nowhere. This is like a tent deer blind I hunt in. And in the background, you can see the blind. And there's like a corkscrew beam of light coming out of the sky in this picture. And if you look below that picture, some people see it, some people don't. it looks like a classic alien with a little white coat on, and it kind of looks like a frog almost, I think, to me. And it's walking away from my blind. So I don't know if anything happened that day. I have no memories of anything happening. And I don't even know if aliens are real or not. You know, I just got this picture. I've never really seen an alien. You know, I've got mixed feelings about it. I don't know if there is or is not aliens. I really can't remember ever meeting one. And then, okay, then we'll get to my house where I was filming these things at. That's all the things I can think about out there at the cabin. Okay, then there was a video where this UFO's flying by. I'd say anywhere between about 100 miles an hour. This thing's cruising over past my house, heading from the east to the west. And I'm shining a green laser at this thing, and you can't see the lasers on with thermal because it's light and it doesn't put off enough heat to see it. So with an infrared scope, you can have an infrared laser and you can see them. You know, which the military does use a lot of night vision. The only thing about infrared or night vision is that in the tree line, in the dark shadows, you can't see into the dark shadows because all infrared does is catch light that you cannot see, and it uses infrared light to shine, you know, that you can't see. But the enemy can also see infrared lasers and infrared lights with their night vision. So thermal, nothing can hide from thermal. Nothing, not anything, not even cloaked UFO can hide from thermal. And, okay, so this thing, I shine my laser at this thing and when it's flying by, and it just comes to a dead stop, and then slowly starts coming back to me. And this thing hovers over me, right over my head for 6.5 minutes. And I have 2 videos up. One's called the enhanced vision with Adobe After Effects, where I keep it in the center of the screen and the outside of the edge of the picture video will be moving, and the inside will be pretty stable. And I have the enhanced version, and it's about 3 minutes and 36 seconds is all I could use it to stabilize because it was so shaky because I was scared. And you can't put these things on a tripod. They go on a rifle, basically. So, and these things are moving, and you only got a 7-degree field of view. So that's a small piece of sky, and you got to keep this thing moving to keep up with these things, and you got to scan the sky to find them. And 7-degree field of view is not very much. These things are meant for hunting, or hunting people or animals, or law enforcement stuff. And this thing just hovers over me for like 6.5 minutes, and I was kind of scared. It's the unknown. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what it could do to me. And eventually, it shoots away at a really high speed. I mean, I'm sure it was more than supersonic. And I catch it in both videos flying away at a high rate of speed. And then there was another time when I couldn't see any UFOs for a week. It was unusual because within 15 minutes I'm outside filming. No matter whether it's winter or summer or whenever it was, I could go out within no more than a half an hour, and I'm filming a UFO, if not large groups of UFOs. So I don't see nothing for a week, so I have a theory that, hey, maybe these things are just sitting up there. Maybe these things are just sitting up there cold, not moving, not making any heat. So I take my camera, I think it's a Canon camera, with a flash on it, and I take my laser. It's a 1 milliwatt green laser, which costs a very lot of money, and it'll actually burn through stuff. And I also want to mention that I don't ever shine anything at planes. Planes always have lights, and I'm always checking to make sure there's no planes or lights up there, so I never shine anything at planes or anything like that. Anything I shine this thing at is invisible and not making a sound. These things, you can't hear them or see them. They're just, I believe they're invisible. I believe you cannot see them unless they want you to. Anyway, I'm shining my laser for my AR-15. I have a handle on it that has a strobe light. It has a red laser on it also. I'm shining that on strobe and my laser, and I'm flashing pictures at the sky. And all this light right over the top of my house. All of a sudden, these big, giant orange balls over my house just show up, about 8 of them. And they start shooting out toward the horizon. They have big orange trails. My lights go dim. My camera won't flash pictures anymore. And my laser goes dim. Everything goes like it was an EMP or something. This thing shot off all directions with these big orange tails until they went over the horizon. And then something hit me in the chest and knocked me to my knees. I don't know what it was. I pissed something off. I don't know if it was some kind of a sonic weapon. I don't know what it was. But this thing knocked me to my chest. And when I went in the house, I had a regular heartbeat after that for about 24 hours. I had a stethoscope for my blood pressure because I have high blood pressure. And my girlfriend listened to my heart. She goes, man, your heart's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You need to go to the hospital. And I didn't, of course. And I still have problems sometimes with the regular heartbeats from that. And only thing I caught was a little orange glow of a line going over the horizon. Then the next thing you know, it's all quiet outside and there's planes like everywhere. Airplanes flying all over the place, you know. So I don't know if this was some kind of government thing or what it was. I don't know if this Project Bluebeam thing is real. You know, I don't know anything. But I did one night out there catch a little dot, which I got on camera, next to the clouds, way up high. I believe it was kind of some kind of spy satellite or something watching, because I noticed it right next to the cloud, and I'm talking to my audience, which is you guys, and I start shining my laser at this thing, and it slowly starts moving away to the south. And anyway, that's just a couple of my experiences at my house. So there's been some creepy stuff happening. So eventually I stopped filming UFOs for personal reasons, religious reasons, and there's just other reasons too, you know. And I don't really want to say the reason I took them off. I took them down off of YouTube, which I still have them all at my house over about 200 miles from here on my laptop, and I am going to start putting them all back up again. And I get my scope back on this Friday on the 6th, August 6th, I get my scope back. So I am going to start filming again, and I'm going to be going back down there to where the hot spot is on right after the 11th. My girlfriend has a dentist appointment, and we're going to be going up there for a week or two to film. So I'm really excited about that. And about a year after I had stopped filming, I actually sold my Zeus. I got rid of it because I was so obsessed with this UFO stuff. I wanted to quit. You know, I was tired of it. I even bought a $2,000 Geiger counter watch that the military uses to track nuclear weapons. Special Forces uses it. And one time when I was pulled into the driveway, the first time I got this thing, the normal background radiation at that house was 7 millisieverts, and that was normal for that area. My daughter's house, it's 14 in Texas millisieverts. I don't know why the difference is, but when I first got this thing, I pulled into my driveway. As soon as I hit the driveway, my watch shot up to 20 millisieverts, it's never that high there. And then as I pulled into my carport, it went back down to the normal 7 millisieverts. So that was really unusual, and it never did that again. And this darn thing didn't have a light on it, but it had an alarm on it. When I set it to a certain amount of rads, it would go off, and it did go off a few times when I was filming these UFOs. I don't know how high it was because I couldn't hold the laser and the thermal scope and shine a light at my watch at the same time. So that's one thing that happened too. And then about, I don't know, a couple years after I had stopped filming, I was outside late at night behind my house, and I always look up at the sky now, and there's a big cigar-shaped UFO up in the clouds flying from the horizon. I go, oh man, look at that stuff. You know, I wish I still had my thermal scope. Didn't have any lights. It looked like a big hot dog, and this thing's flying through the clouds, coming from the south, heading north. And that's pretty much my whole story about my UFO stuff. I mean, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more videos, and the one video I have up of the interaction, the one that's enhanced is called UFO footage of UFO sightings from the past 4. That's the one that's enhanced with Adobe After Effects. The other one's from 11 months ago, and it's a UFO sighting, actual contact, it's called. That's the raw first footage. And after I enhanced it, it got into a smaller platforms now, and I don't know how to make it into bigger platforms. And if there's anybody out there that can help me with my video, there was this guy called MC. I don't know if you guys have heard of Gary McKinnon. he's a Pentagon hacker. They hacked into the NSA files or whatever it was, into the UFO footage from NASA and the Pentagon. And he's a prisoner of his own country. Well, so he was in my comments, and I didn't know who he was. And someone said, "Hey, that's a Pentagon guy." And I've seen him being talked about on Hannity since. And I actually got to talk to this guy on my channel, and we became kind of friends. And then all of a sudden, this guy, he said it was Macaulay Culkin, and I don't even know how to spell Macaulay Culkin. And so I just used it short for MC, and this guy helped me with my videos because I'm not technical, and there's no way I could fake any of this stuff. I just figured out how to put music into iMovie just recently and add voiceover. I go to YouTube and I watch videos about iMovie, and I finally figured some of this stuff out. So my movies are going to get better. They're going to have voiceover. And one thing about my new scope, it's ATN. It's made by ATN. It's a Thor 4 388 by 4.5 magnification up to 18 magnification, and that's optical zoom. That's not digital zoom. So you could also kick it into extended zoom, which is digital, which becomes grainy all the way up to 30 zoom, which it gets real grainy. And I don't know if you guys have seen any of this footage, like the one off the San Diego coast with that ship where that UFO goes into the water. They're using thermal then, and the guy zooms in. It's an optical zoom, and it gets real grainy, and it goes into the water. I've got so many videos of, some people call them ink blobs, but that's what they look like on thermal, when you zoom in on them. And the military, when they're filming these things, the F-18 Hornets, they're using thermal. That is the best. There's no way you can, get away from thermal. A man could be hiding in the bushes in fog, and you can see him out in the woods with this stuff. It's infrared, but it's a much longer band of infrared, where infrared is a real small vision of light that you can't see. Thermal's much wider band of light. So it is all heat gives off light, and cold, everything gives off light. And these things are real sensitive, and they can detect them. So anyway, my Thor 4 is a 50 millimeter lens, and it has a 6 point something by 4.8 inch optical field of view, basically they call it. So it sees a small area, so you have to move it around a lot, and it's kind of hard to keep up with these things. I wish I could afford a real expensive one, like on the FLIR mobile home they have, which is, that thing's nice. It probably costs like $100,000. And this thing, people call it a potato camera. It's $3 potato camera. The one I got, the other one I had cost $3,800, and this ATN cost me $3,200. These things aren't cheap, and people use it for hunting. Law enforcement uses this one that I got now, but military doesn't use it because it's a smart HD. It's got all these gadgets on it. You can it's like an airplane. There's altimeter. There's even weather stuff, humidity, temperature. It's got radar, zoom. It's got a rangefinder in it. It has it's got all kinds of stuff. I can't tell you all the stuff. I can't even think of it right now. I get nervous when I make these videos. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. When I get to my house, I'm going to get all that old off my laptop. I'm going to start putting up all my stuff again, making new videos off of that, and then filming new videos too. So expect me to be starting to film again Friday night, and then when I get back to the other location south of here, I'll be filming there too, and I'm really excited about that because that is definitely a UFO hotspot there. And these things are attracted to this laser, and they'll stop and come back. And they're real curious. I don't know if they're Navy pilots or if they're actually aliens in there or not. That's for you to decide. I don't really know. I think I seen an alien on my deer camera, but I really don't know what they are. And if anybody can help me technically, I could use the help. Like I got my old intro, but it's on my laptop Somebody made me that one from Russia and sent it to me. And all these intros, I didn't make any of them. So other people made these and sent them to me. So anyway, I'm going to cut this video here. I really appreciate you guys watching. I would really love to go on some sites, be interviewed by somebody, and have them ask me questions. And hell, I'll take a lie detector test if anyone wants to put it to me. I am not lying about this stuff. This is real. And I was a non-believer. So anyway, I love you guys, man. Thank you for sticking with me, and stick with me a little bit longer until my other scope comes. I'm probably not going to share any more of these silent videos. I don't like them, really. I've got a lot better stuff I've done at my house. And I got a bunch on my screen right now. You know, some of them are like an hour long, and they're silent. You got to go through and cut them up and take the pieces out of there, you know, because I didn't even know how to put sound to this stuff. That's how technical I'm not when it comes to this tech. We didn't have computers in school when I was in school, so I'm not really good with this stuff. Anyway, like I said, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Probably this weekend I'll be having another video up. And thanks for subscribing. And if you like my videos, please hit the like button. And if you don't, I understand. You can hit the don't like. You know, that's your choice, and I still respect your criticism. Anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Oh, yeah, my email's Franko, Franko, Joey6 @gmail.com. Thanks. Good night, you guys. Bye.